Yep. We're back to work. California's Dana Rohrabacher, our guest. Great to have him here. First time, I believe, maybe the second. We may have had you on the phone once upon a time, but usually Gary Hoffmeister's the one that hogs you, and I don't get to have you because he does. But welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I know your time is limited, and we're going to keep this thing moving ahead as fast as we can. We were talking about with this is the Grumps on Wednesday. We have my kitchen cabinet. Chris Horner was at the top. Michael Dean was your immediate predecessor in this thing. Jed Babin was on before him. Until Saturday, it was my sense, and I think that of a lot of observers around the country, that the Tea Parties were something that could be marginalized. They could be snickered at. They could say, well, this is the kook fringe, and these guys are just the black helicopter crowd. But when something between 300,000 and 1 million people, and it depends on who you ask, show up on these streets out here, that's a pretty big elephant in the room to be ignored. Has that changed the calculus in the Congress or not?
I think it is in the process of changing the calculus of political people all over the country. And what we've got is a willingness on the part of the media to ignore these type of grassroots movements. I mean, ignore the fact that Americans are just revolting against illegal immigration, for example. And we had in California Prop 187, and I remember the media were saying just a few little cranks were behind it, and it was and that the polls were showing that it was going to be very close, when in fact it was a landslide by the people of California to vote in favor of denying benefits to illegal immigrants. Well, when you have so many people in the streets of Washington, D.C., it's going to be very hard for them to deny that these people exist and that this movement's going on.
We felt as though no matter what the public facade might have been, the spin coming from 1600 and coming from both houses of the Congress, and probably to some extent from both sides of both houses of Congress, there's this oops, this kind of blank look on their faces for a while when they looked outside, and these people aren't kidding. This is too many to be a kook fringe. And they're not wearing their panties on their heads. They're not burning things. They're not throwing food. They're not inciting riots. They got their kids on their shoulders. This is middle America that showed up.
Right. With high standards, and they're maintaining the standard of civility, even though they're being very adamant about what they're doing. Nobody's breaking windows or setting things on fire. And now this is there is an upheaval among ordinary Americans of every race and religion and ethnic group, that they are losing their country. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a political force that Republicans in particular need to associate with and try to be part of, if not try to lead. And there's always that story about the fellow during the French Revolution who was running down the street and said, "Where's the mob? I am their leader."
Yes, indeed. Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California, our guest, good friends of Gary Hoffmeister's, and of course we've heard his voice on the show several times before. I want to get through two more subjects with you. Oh, break now, Todd? Okay, quick one. We'll be right back with more. Stick around. We're back to work. Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, our guest, for a few moments more. And Bridget Gabrielle will be the next guest, and she doesn't know any more than you, but she's a lot better looking. I can't help but tell you that. Great to have you here. Let's talk about the immigration fight from a Californian's perspective. Lots of talk and not much else has happened. We did build some wall. Apparently the flood is down some, but as a couple have said, the product is backing up on the other side of the line over there. What do you see as the salient piece of the debate and where the dangers lie with the borders right now?
Well, first and foremost, let's remember this isn't just a southern border issue.
Right.
When we talk about illegal immigration, we're talking about massive flows of illegals coming from Asia, for example.
In container vessels.
Well, not only do they come in, we have not fixed our visa system. Right now, we do not know if someone who comes in with a visa, whether they have left and gone back to their home country or whether they're overstaying their visa. We don't know that. We could have corrected that a long time ago. I've been screaming about it for 10 years, but there's been no progress on that. But with the southern border itself, we could we could have by this time gotten control of the southern border. We're not talking about sealing it. We're talking about getting control of it, making sure we know who's coming across and who isn't. And we've had no progress along those lines. And on top of it, we are still giving benefit packages to illegals who get here that their children are flooding into the schools in California. One of the reasons why California's quality of education is going down is because about 25% of the kids in the classrooms don't have command of their own home language. They've been brought here illegally by their parents. And
they speak almost no English.
Well, and teachers spend their considerable time focusing on their needs, while the needs of ordinary American citizens are being diluted. I mean, we're not being able to meet those needs because we're spending all of the time and attention and resources on kids who came here illegally. And this is a betrayal of our own people, but it's bringing us down. And what's the prospect? What's going to be happening in the next couple of years? Governor Schwarzenegger won't even, he'll cut off programs that our senior citizens are dependent upon, people who paid taxes their entire life, but he won't even consider cutting illegals from those programs.
That drives me nuts. Well, I know you got to get going. Thank you so much for being our guest, and keep the fight up. Keep making noise. They had to listen to you.
It's the Patriots. We've got to stick together here.
And hang together, or we shall all hang separately. I think it was Franklin said. God bless, my friend. Thanks for being our guest. We're right back. Stay with us.